Hello guys, thank you for watching. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm working on and show you a little bit of the editor. And yeah, this webcam is from the Windows XP era. It's kind of funny that it even works. I got a $4,000 computer and I got a webcam. I haven't used a webcam in so long that I just never bought one, I guess. So I had this really old one laying around. As you can see, it's very poor quality. It's like taking a trip back in time to like 2006 era of webcams. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started here. What you can see here on the screen is the Unity game engine. And I'm currently working on two different systems, which is the DeepLogic game simulation framework, which is the framework that will run the game and future games. I'm designing it to be completely reusable for all future games I develop in 3D. And it will, have modular systems that can be exchanged for different types of games. Some things will be custom made for Galactic Armada, and those things will be able to be removed and replaced in future games. And the next thing I'm working on is the artificial intelligence framework called DeepLogic AI, Algorithm Matrix Framework. Intelligence on Demand is the slogan. And I actually have it working right now with a very simple algorithm that sets up targeting for a waypoint chain loop and chooses which target to select. And the next thing I'm going to be working on is setting up behavior implementations, because changing a target isn't a behavioral implementation. A behavior implementation has to do more with physics and controlling something like a ship. Because the actual ship, the software that runs the ship is going to be completely separate from the AI. It's going to be the same system that the player interacts with. The AI will interact with the exact same system using the exact same functionality, the exact same methods that implement the behavior of the ship. Whether it be the throttle or the steering controls, the AI will fly the ship in the same way that players fly the ship. So we got the two different frameworks, and I'm doing custom editors, doing it all professional-like and everything. And we got DeepLogic Agent, which is basically the state machine for the agent, which is a part of the AI framework. And what you see here, AI type, is basically the core. It goes into the core matrix. And then you got some, this will store various globalized states. Globalized states will be states that will be transferred into a data storage API to control how the data is stored, whether it's through a client, to a network, or multiplayer, or to a database, a local database, or both. And there are different state machines. Algorithms themselves within each matrix will be able to have persistent and temporary state machines within the algorithm, and there'll be methods within the algorithms that control how to update the states to the globalized states. So there's various different kinds of state machines, I guess you could say, if you could call them that. Conscious state. Yeah, that's the state of the AI. The way I'm building my AI, I treat it like it's an actual person. because my design methodology is design it as if it were a human being. It will actually think very similarly to a human being, the way it processes algorithms, the way it forms thought patterns using algorithm chaining, basically. I don't really know the technical terminology for that because I'm not sure if I invented it or not, but I couldn't find it on the internet. So, I kind of invented my own terminology for the system I'm designing because I couldn't find anything like it on the internet, and I've watched probably hundreds of hours of videos on artificial intelligence and machine learning and also neural networks. This system will allow me to employ all types of artificial intelligence systems in the form of algorithms. So if I wanted to have a machine learning system and combine it with pre-programmed algorithms or pre-programmed algorithm chains, I could do that. And basically the machine learning system itself would simply be an algorithm. And if you look here, I got this is the wrong one. Algorithm library. We'll go ahead and look at a thought. We'll look at physics. And we have a thought algorithm. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details. The framework's still in development. I do have it functioning right now in proof of concept. Algorithms are stored in containers, which use upwards and downwards and an up and down inheritance system. Within the container. Right here. And then we have the thoughts and the enum there. And then I'll show you one of the matrices, basically. So as you can see here, the AI builds its own code base through modifying execution methods by adding algorithm containers into an array, and then that's executed. So I can use that array of execution methods in many, many ways, and I refer to that as a matrix because I'm creating a matrix system, a matrix algorithm processing system. I don't know if you can find that on the internet because I may have invented it, I don't know. But it will be extremely powerful and allow me to create extremely powerful artificial intelligence systems. Probably more powerful than anything that exists in Unity right now, and it'll be 10 times faster. It'll probably on it maybe even order of magnitude of a lot faster than 10 than what you would find on the asset store, for example. The entire game will run from one single update, fixed update loop right here. So no matter how many objects are in the game, for example, how many ships or debris or objects floating in the environment that have rigid bodies, no matter how many there are, the entire game runs from one single fixed update loop and one single update and one single start. And then everything is fired from in here. So I can control very easily the execution order of the code. I can move it around. I can move the execution order of different systems around any way that I want. The matrix, I'm actually going to be changing the game framework to use a matrix system as well that will remove all unnecessary evaluations of systems that don't need to be running by utilizing method execution arrays, just like the way I've designed my AI system. So the system will build its own code base and only use systems and evaluations that are necessary for its current functionality. So nothing is hard-coded, basically. Like traditional systems you see on the asset store, where you'll have, 10 or 50 different classes, and you'll have everything's hard-coded, and you'll have something running an update loop that, runs 100 different things, checking 100 different things, 100 different if statements. Even if it's concealed, with a wrapper, it's still not designed to discover and execute only systems that are necessary. So even if you have a single if statement, and if you're running 1,000 objects and you have 1,000 if statements, or even more than that, 10,000, depending on the complexity of the systems running on the objects, that could add up a lot and use up your resources. So anyways, in a nutshell, my system will be extremely fast. It'll have extremely good debugging tools. It'll have an extremely powerful artificial intelligence development system, which I'm calling DeepLogic AI framework, or algorithm matrix framework. Now, I don't want to go into all the code right now. I'm going to make another video once I have some more sophisticated algorithms within the system, such as the pathfinding system, which has some pretty decently complicated systems that I have to convert into algorithms, basically. And so what you'll see is and also a visual system that will show how the AI is thinking. And what you'll see is the core matrix, which is the core algorithm of what the AI is and how it functions and how it initially executes on goals. So basically, the core algorithm is a system to determine how and when to execute initialize goals. And those could be passed to it when it's spawned or instantiated into the game world, or it could just be a set default by setting it to a fighter pilot or whatever it's going to be. And then you have agenda algorithms, and the agenda algorithms contain rules for how to execute goals. So say you have a system where you want the ship to fly around and go from waypoint to waypoint to waypoint and then loop around again and just completely fly around in circles, going from one navigation point to the next navigation point endlessly. Well, that would be a system that has rules and it has goals. The goal is to go from one to the next, and when you reach the end, to start over and go to the beginning again, and it just keeps repeating itself. So the core algorithm would be loop waypoint chain, which would trigger a thought, and the thought would be, if the ship isn't moving, it would trigger a whole bunch of different thoughts, which would be to look forward to, if it isn't already avoiding collisions, for example, it would trigger the avoid collisions agenda once the ship starts moving. You see where I'm going with this? So if a ship is sitting still, it doesn't need to use pathfinding systems, right? If a ship is sitting still, it doesn't need to use physics systems. So what happens is the ship, when it's thinking about things, it will actually be utilizing the algorithms and executing the code. And when it's no longer thinking about them, it will not be executing any code whatsoever, because the method execution are added to arrays and they'll be removed from the arrays. So once they're removed, once it's no longer thinking about it, it doesn't even use a single if statement or nothing. It's gone. The code base is completely gone from the system. Anyways, back to what I was saying is so you would have a find target, right? Find target waypoint loop. So you would have the agenda algorithm